Yeah, I'm ringing up Christopher Browell, who's no doubt got his phone switched off, but I'm going to leave him a message anyway to get to the council. Right.
This is the Vodafone voicemail service for 07762471996. Please leave a message after the tone. When you finish recording, please hang up or press the hash key for more options.
Oh, yes, hello, Mr. Browell. It's Mr. Hussain here regarding my brother, Mr. Talib Hussain. Today's date is 17th of September 2023, Sunday, and it's now been 41 days since you've abducted my brother from my home and are now holding him unlawfully captive and caring for him without informing me of what the situation is or what our legal rights are or how you've even done this. You've simply told the police to come down and abduct my brother. We were in the garden, we were having a conversation. Your colleague, I can't remember his name, came down with the police simply on the pretext to find an excuse to come into the house. I did not let him into the house, and then he said, "Oh well, I feel that your brother is very ill, and I've got so many years of experience, and I want to interview him." I said, "Go ahead. You as in the police and your colleague were looking to get in an interpreter, and failing that, if you could not get an interpreter in time, they got instructions, and I was simply arrested from my garden, and then subsequently the whole situation has opened up a whole can of worms now. How did you get into the house? How did you search the whole property? All fraudulent." But the problem is that now we are 41 days later. That's £41 million. Every day, £1 million is getting accumulated for your failure to simply engage with me. What's the problem now? You're a local authority. You got all this power of arrest and abuse. You got all the judges in your back pocket, the judiciary in your back pocket. You got the court system in your back pocket. You got the police in your back pocket. You're the big authority who wants to be in control. Yet you're failing to simply talk to me. Yet you're failing to simply engage with me. You've switched off your phone deliberately under instructions from your seniors and supervisors, no doubt. Vicina Brown, Nadia Khan, but most importantly is this Mark Truin character, who is seems to be the power behind the throne, the unelected senior individual that everybody is subservient to, who's targeting and victimizing me, who was in court sending me down and fraudulently taking all the money, and you've now accumulated so much money for the past 11 years since July 2012, when you stopped paying the direct payments. It is your failure in adequately managing direct payments that has then necessitated you closing that door, which I don't care. I don't need direct payments. I want £1 million a week. Direct payments is not going to cover that. So you created a situation that's now that we are here today, where you are acting unlawfully outside of the remit of any law or any jurisdiction. You are simply acting like gangsters, killing and murdering people. This has always been about your need to save money at the expense of your duty of care to the people that you are meant to be looking after, namely my parents and my disabled brothers. You've now kidnapped my brother. This is totally unacceptable, that you're simply refusing to engage with me, saying that the police are going to now investigate. And the police have come into the house, they've taken photographs of everything. But what are they going to do? I was not physically abusing my brother. I was not psychologically abusing my brother. In fact, I was making all the sacrifices necessary to provide him with care, whilst you were financially abusing him by not giving him unfettered access to his money, not having any formal structure in place, simply accumulating his money. And you had done this by becoming unlawfully his DWP appointee, by holding him hostage at Linfield Mount Hospital and getting him to sign over that authority so you could be in charge of his money. He's never authorized this. That was clearly under duress. And then subsequently you've also rewritten the order of the 1st of January 2018, putting you in charge of his finances. This is all fraudulent. You know it's all fraudulent, and now you're looking to hold my brother hostage as a local authority in order to what you're gonna end up killing him. You have a pattern of behavior of murdering people. You've murdered my brother Nazim. You originally threw him off a 3-story building. He was paralyzed from the neck down for 11 years, and then you eventually murdered him and tried to frame me for it. That was in 2014. We're coming to tomorrow is going to be the anniversary of my brother's 9 years of my brother's murder. On the 18th of September 2014, you murdered him and tried to frame me for it after several failed attempts, and you had colluded and conspired with the West Yorkshire Police at the time. And this is all fully documented. I fully documented everything. Now, as a consequence of your failure to frame me for my brother Nazim's murder, you sent me to jail under false pretenses of frauding everybody, when the reality is that it was your failures under direct payments. And then subsequently, I've come back, started caring for my mother and brother, whom you had said I had frauded, and then subsequently you've now attempted to kidnap my brother Talib in August 2018. Then subsequently you've attempted to kidnap my mother. That's all fallen apart. You got the High Court involved, kicked me out of the city, me and my brother out of the city, and then eventually murdered our mother. And now we are here. Now you're targeting Talib. Poor Talib's not seen his family. He's not got access to any of his private property or any legal rights. You're simply holding him as a commodity for your benefit, so you can now spend money that you claim is in his best interest, when the reality is there's a conflict of interest, because you're not acting in my brother's best interest. I've created a care home for him after you've taken away all the money, and now you've abducted him from my care home, which obviously was failing because you had not given us any money. The reality is that you've accumulated over £100,000, and we are suffering as a consequence of this, when you had convicted me of frauding my own family members.
15 seconds recording time remaining.
When you had convicted me of frauding my own family members, nobody was suffering. There was no evidence of any suffering taking place, but quite clearly of sufferings taking place now. And this is all your fault. Today is the 17th of September 2023, and once again leaving a message to your senior management at the council to come and engage with me.
Your recording time has expired. To leave your message, press 1. To review message sent. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
Okay, so I left him a message, all right, and this is just all basically they're just trying to cover up their own backs and trying to target me, and they're doing it by sitting in the background and fronting people. So they've previously in the past fronted my own siblings and relatives, my brothers and sisters in Bradford, my nieces and nephews in Bradford. They've tried to front them. That all failed because I saw through the lies. Then they tried to front the next level, which is the GP practices. Several GP practices they've privately commissioned off and tried to front them to do their dirty bidding. That's all now failed and fallen apart. Then they've got more authoritative figures involved, such as the Office of the Public Guardian, whom I had registered with, such as the Department of Work and Pensions. So they've then fronted those people, and then failing that, they're now fronting the courts and tribunal services and the judges, and trying to get solicitors involved. They're trying to do so much in order to just escape the fact that they've been, granny dumping or senior siding, namely killing elderly people off, because it's in their economic interest. It's not something that is publicly they can declare publicly. They're not going to say, well, old people are a burden on the system, so let's just kill them off. That's effectively, they can't say that because that doesn't chime well with ratepayers and voters. So they're not saying that, but that's what they're doing. They're not saying something, but they're doing it, and they're doing it in the best interest of everybody, the working population. And they're saying that you're suffering because of the elderly people are holding and hoarding onto their wealth. We will end their life. And so therefore the newer population can get access to their inheritance, and that's exactly what this is. We pay society, or we pay the government, or we pay the local authority to effectively end elderly's life, because we don't want to go around killing people. So, and you shouldn't go around killing people anyway, but that's the job and the role and the remit of the state, to kill elderly people off. And to ensure that money is recirculated into the economy, and money is saved from young people's taxpayer money, or the working population's taxpayer money, in order to feed, clothe, and house, or accommodate and care for the elderly. This is an old trope, isn't it? It goes back centuries, where elderly people are as a burden to society are being killed off, and the state apparatus is being utilized, specifically social workers, healthcare professionals, the local authority, the police, all working in collusion and collaboration under what is it, adult safeguarding boards, or safeguarding adult boards, to under the Care Act to effectively kill people off. So the Care Act 2014 is effectively being, it's meant to be providing care, but effectively is being utilized in order to murder elderly people off. That's all this is about. And this is fundamentally the argument or the debate here, isn't it? I'm trying to say I need to get paid for the caring that I'm providing for. The state should pay me for my care services, which openly they declare that they have to as well. But the reality is that they don't want to pay that care support, and what they want to do is they want to kill off elderly people. And I think this is just horrendous. And now you see, look, they just switched off the phone. They don't want to deal with me because obviously they can't argue with me, they can't debate with me, because ultimately when they argue and debate with me, all they're effectively going to have to confess is that, yes, Mr. Hussain, the reality is that we need to kill elderly people off, and the COVID-19 was simply a pretext for us to achieve this. So that's what we've done. And as a society, we can't afford to look after the elderly, and we need now to have a clear mechanism in place to kill off the elderly. And this is the real reason why care homes are closing down. The reason the care homes are closing down is care home managers know what they're doing is illegal, and they're not getting paid enough to kill people off, so they charge up more prices. They give it, no, if we're going to be murdering people, we stand a risk of getting caught. We don't want to be held subservient to the local authority at any time. This can be used against us. So what they do is they just close down the care homes. Care homes are closing down not because of a funding crisis, it's because the local authority are effectively telling them to murder them off. And then it's not a very good economic model, is it? You have a care home in place to care for people, and effectively the local authority play with you, play with the money situation, reduce the money situation, and effectively get you to murder the recipients. When the person dies, the local authority, it's a win-win situation for the local authority. They're saving money in paying for that care home. They actually make money from the burial service. So yeah, it's quite a horrendous industry, the care home or care sector, by the local authority who are murdering people. And it's the local authority who have murdered people. And this is the same situation now. Why have they come and grabbed my brother from our home and are holding him hostage like this? Totally horrendous, totally despicable. But yet that nobody in society wants to deal with this issue, because effectively people in society are saying, yeah, well, we effectively openly can't agree with this, but yeah, kill them all off, kill our elderly people off. We don't want to, we are too cowardice to kill our elderly parents off. We want the state to do it. And that's the nightmare situation I'm finding myself in. You're doing something that is in your own best interest, that serves your agenda and narrative, namely get rid of the elderly, and you're doing this and utilizing the state. And when I'm looking to highlight this, I'm being vilified, I'm being put, made the bad guy here, when all I've done is sacrificed everything to keep elderly people alive, and I'm doing what they're saying, what they say they're supposed to be doing, and what everybody agrees that should be done. The elderly and disabled should be cared for. But the reality is there's a disconnect between fiction and reality, and the local authority want to perpetuate a fiction of benevolence when the reality is that they are malevolent and looking to murder people. Absolutely ridiculous. Why are they not talking to me? Okay, they can have a conversation with me. They don't want to. Nobody in senior management wants to speak to me, simply because they know the fact that we're murdering people effectively because we can't afford to care for them, and we're making money out of this. So we've got a business model where we can exploit elderly people, and against the family's wishes, and also society's wishes, where they don't need elderly people to be a burden because they contribute nothing to society, when that's not simply the truth. Because elderly people contribute so much to society. I am fully, invested in, caring for the elderly, and I know they have a greater contribution to society because they relieve the stress. I'm stressed out because I can't care for somebody, and the goodwill and the dua and the inheritance that you get. No, it's just, this is a messed up society, and they don't want to speak to me, and now they're holding my brother hostage, and they're going to end up murdering him too. And yet I had spent all this money and time and resources in order to put a care